Alright, guys, I'm back with another chapter in Genesis. We're in Genesis chapter 45, where the header reads, Joseph reveals his identity. And we'll get right into it. Joseph could stand it no longer. There were many people in the room, and he said to his attendants, Out, all of you. So he was alone with his brothers when he told them who he was. Then he broke down and wept. He wept so loudly the Egyptians could hear him, and word of it quickly carried to Pharaoh's palace. I am Joseph, he said to his brothers. Is my father still alive? But his brothers were speechless. They were stunned to realize that Joseph was standing there in front of them. Please come closer, he said to them. So they came closer, and he said again, I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold into slavery in Egypt. But don't be upset, and don't be angry with yourselves for selling me to this place. It was God who sent me here, ahead of you, to preserve your lives. This famine that has ravaged the land for 2 years will last 5 more years, and there will be neither plowing nor harvesting. God has sent me ahead of you to keep you and your families alive and to preserve many survivors. So it was God who sent me here, not you, and he is the one who made me an advisor to Pharaoh, the manager of his entire palace and the governor of all Egypt. Now hurry back to my father and tell him, this is what your son Joseph says. God has made me master over all the land of Egypt. So come down to me immediately. You can live in the region of Goshen, where you can be near me with all your children and grandchildren, your flocks and herds, and everything you own. I will take care of you there, for there are still 5 years of famine ahead of us. Otherwise, you, your household, and all your animals will starve. Then Joseph added, Look, you can see for yourselves, and so can my brother Benjamin, that I really am Joseph. Go tell my father of my honored position here in Egypt. Describe for him everything you have seen, and then bring my father here quickly. Weeping with joy, he embraced Benjamin, and Benjamin did the same. Then Joseph kissed each of his brothers and wept over them, and after that they began talking freely with him. Pharaoh invites Jacob to Egypt. The news soon reached Pharaoh's palace. Joseph's brothers have arrived. Pharaoh and his officials were all delighted to hear this. Pharaoh said to Joseph, Tell your brothers, this is what you must do. Load your pack animals and hurry back to the land of Canaan. Then get your father and all of your families and return here to me. I will give you the very best land in Egypt, and you will eat from the best that the land produces. Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, Tell your brothers, take wagons from the land of Egypt, your personal belongings for the land of Egypt, to carry your little children. I'm going to start again. This is verse 19. I am struggling something fierce tonight, guys. Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, Tell your brothers, take wagons from the land of Egypt, to carry your little children and your wives, and bring your father here. Don't worry about your personal belongings, for the best of all the land of Egypt is yours. So the sons of Jacob did as they were told. Joseph provided them with wagons, and Pharaoh had commanded, and he gave them supplies for the journey. And he gave each of them new clothes. But to Benjamin he gave 5 changes of clothes and 300 pieces of silver. He also sent his father 10 male donkeys loaded with the finest products of Egypt, and 10 female donkeys loaded with grain and bread and other supplies he would need on his journey. So Joseph sent his brothers off, and they left. And as they left, he called after them, Don't quarrel about all this along the way. And they left Egypt and returned to their father, Jacob, in the land of Canaan. Joseph is still alive, they told him, and he is governor of all the land of Egypt. Jacob was stunned at the news. He couldn't believe it. But when they repeated to Jacob everything Joseph had told them, and when he saw the wagons Joseph had sent to carry him, their father's spirits revived. Then Jacob exclaimed, It must be true. My son Joseph is alive. I must go and see him before I die. And that's the end of chapter 45. I really resonate with the calm spirit that Joseph had. I absolutely love the fact that he didn't have any malice in his heart. He trusted in God so much that he knew whatever he was going to be, that God promised him, whatever the bottom, he didn't know how that would come to be, but willingly accepted wherever he was at and did his best wherever he was at, knowing that God was with him the entire time. And it blessed him in such a manner that it was beyond his reckoning. I want that so badly for my life, and realizing that it doesn't matter where I'm at or where I serve, just that I serve to glorify God. And he's going to take care of the rest. And it's going to be so much more that he takes care of that I can't even fathom it. He gave Joseph an entire nation, a nation that hates his people. And he still gave it to Joseph. Turned Pharaoh into basically a figurehead. That he was just simply there to oversee what was happening. But Joseph, no, you know what's going to happen. So that's 14 years. A little bit more than 14 years. Because it said before that, say, nope, 7 years, it's going to go great. We're a little bit ahead of the curve right now. We're going to start saving up to where, and he did such a good job saving and preserving that it ended to be so much more than he could count. Or that they could count. As it surpasses that, then we're going into now the famine. So this is almost 10 years into what would have been his reign as second in command of Egypt. An entire decade given to a Hebrew that they said that they detested. And now Pharaoh's excited to see them. I don't understand what is the origin of their disgust or their frustration with the Hebrew people. It confuses me because the ones that they do know, the ones that they regularly work with, the one that oversees everything, they love him and they're excited to see his extended family come. So, again, relationships continue to confuse me, especially in Genesis, because they're still so close in generations that aren't they all still somewhat recognizing that they're all relatives? I mean, even at this point, it's still pretty recent after the flood, considering entire world populations and generations, at least to my understanding. And so, I don't know, that part confused me, but I absolutely love Joseph's willingness to, wherever I'm at, I'm going to serve. And then God will continue to provide. And in that spirit, God provided so much that it was enough to provide for entire nations, and then even surrounding nations in other places. So that means a whole lot to me, and I simply want to be living that. And that just means doing what God needs me to do wherever he needs me to do it. On that note, have a good night. God bless. I love you. Jesus loves you. And I'll be back tomorrow to read chapter 46 of Genesis, where the header reads, Jacob's family moves to Egypt. Have a good night and God bless, guys.